ओम धूरसी धूर्वधूर्वन्तं वयं धूर्वाञ्जोऽस्मान् धूर्वती वयं धूर्वां देवानमपि सशिवन्हितमपपृतं ज्येष्ठतं देवहूतमं धूपं दीपं दर्शयामि नमः। साजंचवर्ति संयुक्तं वह्निनां योजितं मया दीपं गृहाण देवेशे त्रैलोक्ये तिमिरापहं भक्त्या दीपं प्रयच्छामि देवाय परमात्मने त्राहि मां निर्याद्घोरा दीपरज्योति नमोऽस्तुते। ओम महधूपं दीपं दर्शयामि नमः। जलेन शीतलीकरणं पुष्पै देवाभिवन्दनं गणपति पूजार्थं च नीराजनं करोम्यहं श्रीमन्महागणाधिपते नमः। प्रसादं समर्पयामि नमः। प्रसादभावे यक्षतानं पुष्पाणि समर्पयामि नमः। ताम्बूलपत्राणि पुंगीफलं समर्पयामि पुंगीफलमहादिव्यं नागवल्लीर्दलैर्युतं ऐलालिचूर्णसंयुक्तं ताम्बूलं प्रतिगृह्यताम्। ताम्बूलपत्राणि समर्पयामि सांगता सिद्धे द्रवदक्षिणां समर्पयामि अभावे यक्षतानं समर्पयामि नमः। कर्पूरनीराजनं समर्पयामि कर्पूरगौरं करुणावतारं संसारसारं भुजगेन्द्रहारं सदा वसन्तं हृदयारविन्दे भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि। ओम इदगुहविः प्रजननं मे दशवीर सर्वगणगुसस्तयात्मसनि प्रजासनि लोकसन्नभयसनि अग्निः प्रजां बाहुलां मे करो तन्नो पयोरेतो अस्मासुधत। श्रीमन्महागणाधिपतये नमः। नीराजनं समर्पयामि प्रार्थनापूर्वक नमस्कारं समर्पयामि नमः। विघ्नेश्वराय वरदाय सुरप्रियाय लंबोदराय सकलाय जगद्हिताय नागाननाय श्रुतियज्ञविभूषिताय गौरीसुताय गणनाथ नमो नमस्ते। भक्तार्तिनाशनपराय गणेश्वराय सर्वेश्वराय शुभदाय सुरेश्वराय विद्याधराय विकटाय च वामनाय भक्तप्रसन्नवरदाय नमो नमस्ते। नमस्ते ब्रह्मरूपाय विष्णुरूपाय ते नमः। नमस्ते रुद्ररूपाय करिरूपाय ते नमः। विश्वरूपस्वरूपाय नमस्ते ब्रह्मचारिणे भक्तप्रियाय देवाय नमस्तुभ्यं विनायका। त्वां शत्रुविघ्नदलनेति च सुन्दरेति भक्तप्रियेति सुखदेति फलप्रदेति विद्याप्रदेत गहरेति च ये स्तुवन्ति तेभ्यो गणेश वरदो भव नित्यमेव। त्वं वैष्णवी शक्तिरनन्तवीर्या विश्वस्य बीजं परमासि माया सम्मोहितं देवी समस्तमेतत् त्वं वै प्रसन्ना भुवि मुक्तिहेतु। श्रीगणेशाय विद्महे वक्रतुण्डाय धीमहि तन्नो दन्ति प्रचोदयात्। शिवसुताय विद्महे गौरीपुत्राय धीमहि तन्नो गणपति प्रचोदयात्। श्रीमन्महागणाधिपते नमः। प्रार्थनां समर्पयामि नमः। रक्ष रक्ष गणाध्यक्ष रक्ष त्रैलोक्य रक्षका भक्तानाम् अभयं कर्ता त्राता भवभवार्णवात्। द्वयमात् कृपा सिन्धो शाणमात् गजा प्रभो वरदस्तं वरं देहि वाञ्छितवाञ्छितार्थद। अनेन सफलर्गेण वरदोस्तु सदा मम। अनेन पूजनेन गण गणपति देवताभ्यन्तां नमः। ओम गं श्री वरुण देवताभ्यो नमः। ओम स्योना पृथ्वी नो भवा निरीक्षरा नवेशिनी जच्छानः संसं सप्रथाः। पृथ्वी नमः आधार शक्ते नमः। कमलासनाय नमः कूर्मासनाय नमः विमलासनाय नमः सिद्धासनाय नमः श्री वसुंधरायै नमो नमः। भूमि स्पर्शं कृत्वा ओम धान्य राशि समर्पयामि नमः। धाम पाद्यं समर्पयामि हस्त्योर्घं मुखे आचमनीयं सर्वांगेषु स्नानियं समर्पयामि। गंगे च यमुने चैव गोदावरी सरस्वती नर्मदे सिंधु कावेरी जलेऽस्मिन् सन्निधं कुरु। श्री वरुण देवताभ्यो नमो नमः। बम वरुणायै नमो नमः। गंधानुलेपनं समर्पयामि नमः। ओम गंधद्वारां दुरादर्शां नित्यपुष्टां किरीशिनी ईश्वरीं सर्वभूतानां तामिहोपहुवे श्रियं गन्धानुलेपनं समर्पयामि नमः। अबीरं गुलालं समर्पयामि, अक्षतानं समर्पयामि, पूजार्थे पुष्पमालां समर्पयामि। ॐ बं वरुणाय नमः, ॐ बं प्रचेतसे नमः, ॐ बं विकर्णभूषणाय नमः, ॐ बं अपांपतये नमः, ॐ बं जलाधिपतये नमः, ॐ ऋग्वेदाय नमः, ॐ यजुर्वेदाय नमः, ॐ अथर्ववेदाय नमः, ॐ सामवेदाय नमः, ॐ वेदवेदांगाय नमः, ॐ पुराणाय नमः, ॐ इतिहासाय नमः, ॐ वेदव्यासाय नमः, ॐ सप्त नदीभ्यो नमः, सप्त पर्वतेभ्यो नमः, ॐ सप्त ऋषिभ्यो नमः, ॐ सप्त सरिताभ्यो नमः, ॐ सूर्याय नमः, ॐ चंद्राय नमः, ॐ मंगलाय नमः, ॐ बुद्धाय नमः, ॐ बृहस्पते नमः, ॐ शुक्राय नमः, ॐ शनिश्चराय नमः, ॐ राहवे नमः, ॐ केतवे नमः, ॐ अधिदेवता प्रत्यादिदेवता पंचलोकपाल 10 दिक्पाल स्वास्तोषपते क्षेत्रपाल देवता समस्त देवी देवताभ्यो नमो नमः। धूपं दर्शयामि नमः। साजंचवर्ति संयुक्तं वह्निनां योजितं मया दीपं गृहेण देवेश त्रैलोक्ये तिमिरापहं भक्त्या दीपं प्रच्छामि देवाय परमात्मने त्राहि मां निर्यात् घोरात् दीपज्योति नमोस्तुते। धूप दीपं दर्शयामि नमः। हस्तप्रक्षालनपूर्वकं नैवेद्यं समर्पयामि। नैवेद्यान्ते पुनर्जलम् आचमनीयं समर्पयामि। भवकालोखण्ड ऋतुफल समर्पयामि। मुखवासार्थे ताम्बूलपत्राणि पुंगीफलं समर्पयामि। सांगता सिद्धये द्रवदक्षिणां समर्पयामि। नीराजनं समर्पयामि नमः। साजंचवर्ति संयुक्तं वह्निनां योजितं मया दीपं गृहाण देवेशे त्रैलोक्ये तिमिरापहं भक्त्या दीपं प्रच्छामि देवाय परमात्मने त्राहि मां निर्यात् घोरात् दीपज्योति नमोस्तुते। प्रार्थनापूर्वक नमस्कारं समर्पयामि। देवदानव संवादे मध्यमानो महादधौ उत्पन्नोऽसि तदा कुम्भविद्रतो विष्णुना स्वयं तत्त्व ये सर्वतीर्थानि सर्वे देवा त्वयि स्थिता त्वयि तिष्ठन्ति भूतानि त्वयि प्राणा प्रतिष्ठिता। शिवस्वं त्वमेवासि विष्णुस्त्वं च प्रजापति आदित्या वसवो रुद्रा विश्वे देवा मरुद्गणा। आयान्तु मम शान्तरथ दुरिताक्षयकारिका नमामि गंगे तव पादपङ्कजं सुरासुरैः वन्दित दिव्यरूपं भुक्तिमुक्तिं च ददासि नित्यं भावानुसारेण सदा नराणां। नंदनी नलिनी सीता मालती च महापगा विष्णुपदाब्ज संभूता गंगा त्रिपथगामिनी भागीरथी भोगवती जाह्नवी त्रिदिशेश्वरी। द्वादशैतानि नामानि यत्र यत्र जलाशये यत्र यत्र समरे नित्यं तत्र तत्र वसाम्यहं। श्रीमन् श्रीवं वरुणाय नमः। नमो नमस्ते स्फटिकाप्रभाय सुश्वेतहाराय सुमंगलाय सुपाशहस्ताय जशासनाय जलादिनाथाय नमो नमस्ते। पाशपाने नमस्तुभ्यं पद्मनि जीवनाय कार्यावद् कर्म समाप्तिर्न तावद् सुस्थिरो भव। बं वरुणाय नमो नमः। ओम श्री जगदम्बिकायै नमो नमः। ओम देवी प्रपन्नार्तिहरे प्रसीद प्रसीद मातर जगतोऽखिलस्य प्रसीद विश्वेश्वरी पाहि विश्वं त्वमीश्वरी देवी चराचरस्य। नमो देव्यै महादेव्यै शिवायै सततं नमः। नमः प्रकृते भद्राय निहता प्रणता स्मतां। रौद्राय नमो नित्याय गौरे धात्रे नमो नमः। जेत्सिन्ने चेन्दुरूपिण्यै सुखायै सततं नमः। ओम श्री जगदम्बिकाय नमः। महाकाली महालक्ष्मी महासरस्वती श्री त्रिगुणात्मिकायै योग योगेश्वरी राजराजेश्वरी श्री जगदम्बिकायै नमो नमः। जयन्ती मंगला काली भद्रकाली कपालिनी दुर्गा क्षमा शिवा धात्री स्वाहा स्वधा नमोस्तुते। जय त्वं देवी चामुण्डे जय भूतार्तिहारिणी जय सर्वगते देवी कालरात्रि नमोस्तुते। श्री जगदम्बिकायै नमो नमः। पुष्पाणि समर्पयामि ध्यानं समर्पयामि नमः। ॐ महापाद्यं समर्पयामि नमः। हस्त्योर्घं समर्पयामि नमः। मुखे आचमनीयं समर्पयामि नमः। सर्वांगेषु स्नानियं समर्पयामि नमो नमः। श्री जगदम्बिकायै नमः। ॐ अस्य श्री दुर्गा सप्तश्लोकी दुर्गा स्तोत्र मंत्रस्य नारायण ऋषि नुष्टुप छंदा श्री महाकाली महालक्ष्मी महासरस्वत्यो देवता श्री दुर्गा प्रीत्यर्थे सप्तश्लोकी दुर्गा पाठे विनियोगाः। ज्ञाननपि चेतांसि देवी भगवती हि सा बलादाकृष्य मोहाय महामाया प्रयच्छति। दुर्गे समर्ता हरसि भीतिं शेषजन्तो स्वस्थै समर्ता मतिमतीं शुभां ददासि। दारिद्र्य दुःख भयहारिणी कतुदन्या सर्वोपकारकरणाय सदाद्रचित्ता। ये श्री जगदम्बिकायै नमः। सर्वमंगलमांगल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरणे त्र्यंबके गौरी नारायणी नमोस्तुते। सर्वस्वरूपे सर्वेशे सर्वशक्ति समन्विते भयभ्योस्त्राहिनो देवी दुर्गे देवी नमोस्तुते। शरणागतदीनार्थ परित्राणपरायणे सर्वस्यार्तिर्हरे देवी नारायणी नमोस्तुते। सर्वाबाधा विनिर्मुक्तो धनधान्य सुतान्विता मनुष्यो मत्प्रसादेन भविष्यति न संशया। रोगान् शेषान् पहंसि तुष्टा रुष्टा तु कामान् सकलान् अभीष्टान् त्वामाश्रितन्ना विपन्नराणां त्वामाश्रितं हाश्रयान्तां प्रयान्ति। श्री सप्तश्लोकी दुर्गा जगदम्बिकायै नमो नमः। ओम अस्य श्री दुर्गाष्टोत्तरशतनाम स्तोत्रम्। ईश्वर उवाच शतनाम प्रवक्ष्यामि शनिष्वकमलानने यस्य प्रसादमात्रेण दुर्गा प्रीता भवेत् सती। ओम सती साध्वी भवप्रीता भवानी भवमोचनी आर्या दुर्गा जया चाद्या त्रिनेता शूलधारिणी पीनाकधारिणी चित्रा चण्डघण्टा महातपा मनोबुद्धिरहंकारा चित्तरूपा चिताचिति। सर्वशास्त्रमयी सत्ता सत्यानंदस्वरूपिणी अनंता भावनी भव्या भव्या अभव्या सदा गति। शाम्भवी देवमाता च चिंता रत्नप्रिया सदा सर्वविद्या दक्षकन्या दक्षयज्ञ विनाशिनी। अपर्णा नैकवर्णा चै पाटला पाटलावती पटाम्बर परिधाना कलमंजीर रंजनी। अमेय विक्रमा क्रूरा सुंदरी सुरसुंदरी वन दुर्गा च मातांगी मतंग मुनि पूजिता। ब्राह्मी महेश्वरी चैन्द्री कौमारी वैष्णवी तथा चामुंडा चैव वाराही लक्ष्मीश्च पुरुषाकृति। विमलोत्कर्षिणी ज्ञाना क्रिया नित्या च बुद्धिदा बहुला बहुल प्रेमा सर्ववाहन वाहना। निशुंभ शुंभ हननी च महिषासुरमर्दनी मधुकैटभहंत्री च चंडमुंड विनाशिनी। सर्वासुर विनाश च सर्वदानवघातनी सर्वशास्त्रमयी सत्ता सर्वास्त्रधारिणी तथा। अनेक शस्त्रहस्ता च अनेक शस्त्रास्त्रधारिणी कौमारी चैककन्या च कैशोरी युवती यति। अप्रौढ़ा चैव प्रौढ़ा च वृद्धमाता बलप्रदा महोदरी मुक्तकेशी घोररूपा महाबला। अग्निज्वालां रौद्रमुखी कालरात्रि तपस्विनी नारायणी भद्रकाली विष्णुमायां जलोदरी। शिवदूती कराली च अनंता परमेश्वरी कात्यायनी च सावित्री प्रत्यक्षा ब्रह्मवादिनी। यह इदं प्रपठे नित्यं दुर्गानां शताष्टकं न साध्यं विदते देवी त्रिशो लोकेषु पार्वती। धनं धान्यं सुतं जायं हैनहस्तिनमेव च चतुर्वर्ग तथा चान्ते लभेन्मुक्तिं च शाश्वतीं। कुमारी पूजयित्वा तु ध्यात्वा देवी सुरेश्वरीं पूजेत परया भक्त्या पठे नाम शताष्टकम् तस्य जायते सिद्धिर्सर्वेषुर्वरैरपि राजानो दास्तां यान्ति राज्यश्रियमुवाप्नुयात् गोरोचललक्तकुकुङ्कुमेन सिन्धूरकर्पूरमधुत्तरेण विलिख्यं यन्त्रण विधिना विधिज्ञो भवेत् सदा धार्यते पुरारी भौम अमावस्या निशामग्रे चन्द्रे शतभिषां गते विलिख्यं परपठते स्तोत्रं स भवेत् सम्पदां पदम् विश्वसारतन्त्रे दुर्गाष्टोत्तरशतनां स्तोत्रं श्रीजगदम्बिकायै नमो नमः। श्रीमहालक्ष्म्यै नमः। नमस्तेऽस्तु महामाये श्रीपीठे सुरपूजिते शङ्खचक्रगदाहस्ते महालक्ष्मी नमोऽस्तुते। नमस्ते गरुडारूढे कोलासुरभयङ्करी सर्वपापहरे देवी महालक्ष्मी नमोऽस्तुते। नमस्ते सिद्धिबुद्धिप्रदे देवी भुक्तिमुक्तिप्रदायिनी मंत्रमूर्ति सदा देवी महालक्ष्मी नमोस्तुते। आद्यंतरहिते देवी आद्यशक्ति महेश्वरी योगजे योग संभूते महालक्ष्मी नमोस्तुते। स्थूल सूक्ष्म महारौद्रे महाशक्ति महोदरे महापापहरे देवी महालक्ष्मी नमोस्तुते। पद्मासनस्थिते देवी परब्रह्म स्वरूपिणी परमेशी जगन्मातर महालक्ष्मी नमोस्तुते। ओम महाश्री जगदम्बिकाये श्री महालक्ष्मी नमो नमः। ओम श्री महासरस्वते नमः। शुक्लां ब्रह्म विचारसार परमां आद्यं जगद्व्यापिनी वीणा पुस्तकधारिणी अभयदां जाड्यान्धकारां पहं हस्ते स्फटिकमालिकां विदधति पद्मासने संस्थितां वन्दे तां परमेश्वरी भगवती बुद्धिप्रदां शारदा। श्री महाकाली महालक्ष्मी महासरस्वती जगदम्बिकायै नमो नमः। प्रसाद ओम सिंहस्थां शशिशेखरां मरकतप्रख्यैश्चतुर्भिर्भुजै शंखं चक्रधनुशरांश्च ददति नेत्रे स्त्रीभिः शोभिताम् आमुक्तांगदहार कंकणरणतकांचीरणनूपुरान् दुर्गा दुर्गतिहारिणी भवतु नो रत्नो लसत्कुण्डला। दुर्गा दुर्गार्तिशमनी दुर्गा पदविनिवारिणी दुर्गमच्छेदनी दुर्गसाधनी दुर्गनाशनी। ओम नाभ्यासिदन्तरिक्षगुंशिष्णोर्द्योः समवर्तत पद्भ्यां भूमिर्दिशः श्रोत्रान् तथा लोकान् अकल्पयन् शर्कराखण्डखाद्यानि दधिक्षीर्धतानि च आहारो भक्षभोजन च नैवेद्यं प्रतिगृहताम्। अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहिमाश्रिता प्राणोपानसमायुक्ता पचाम्यन्न चतुर्विधम् पचाम्यन्न चतुर्विधम् अन्नाद् भवति भूतानि पर्जन्यो अन्न संभवा यज्ञाद् भवति पर्जन्यो यज्ञकर्म समुद्भवा। श्री जगदम्बिकायै नमः। प्रसादम् अर्पयामि नमः। मंत्रपुष्पांजलि समर्पयामि। ओम सर्वमंगलमांगल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरणे त्र्यंबके गौरी नारायणी नमोस्तुते। सच्चियां जोतां वाली माता जी थोड़ी सदा ही जय। जगदियां जोतां वाली माता तेरी सदा ही जय। जयकारा शेरां वाली दा बोल साचे दरबार की जय।
जयति जय दुर्गे भवानी, जयति जय दुर्गे भवानी, जयति जय दुर्गे भवानी, जयति जय दुर्गे भवानी, जगत जननी माता दयानी, जगत जननी माता दयानी, जयति जय दुर्गे भवानी, जयति जय दुर्गे भवानी। अमर पालिनी किरण मालिनी, अमर पालिनी किरण मालिनी, ताप कांचन गौरी काया, ताप कांचन गौरी काया, महायोगिनी माता शिवानी, महायोगिनी माता शिवानी, जयति जय दुर्गे भवानी, जयति जय दुर्गे भवानी। पार्वती हिम शैलकन्या, पार्वती हिम शैलकन्या, विश्वविजयनी भुवन धन्या, विश्वविजयनी भुवन धन्या, रक्तबीज करनाशिनी, रक्तबीज करनाशिनी, जयति जय दुर्गे भवानी, जयति जय दुर्गे भवानी, जयति जय दुर्गे भवानी, जयति जय दुर्गे भवानी। जग के रखवाले करने वाले जगदम्बे मैया, जग के रखवाले करने वाले जगदम्बे मैया, महिमा तुम्हारी है निराली हो जगदम्बे मैया, महिमा तुम्हारी है निराली हो जगदम्बे मैया, जग के रखवाले करने वाले जगदम्बे मैया।
Bolo Shri Durga Mata Ki Jai. Thank you, everyone. We'll now have the Shri Durga Chalisa by G. Gabriel. Each week, this is something that we're trying to make our practice. This is something that we're trying to make something as a sadhana that we're doing so that we can be involved and to learn more about the Durga Chalisa. After Bhaiji Gabriel sings as well, I'll try to give a little bit of the meaning of this Chalisa. Because we know the Hanuman Chalisa, we have memorized it. Many of us do not know the meaning of the Chalisa, but at least as we're learning the Durga Chalisa, we can have the meaning as we're going along with it as well. Over to you, Bhaiji.
सरस्वती नमः। ओम श्री गुरु नमः। सर्वमंगल मांगल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थ साधिके शरण्ये त्र्यंबके गौरी नारायणी देवी नारायणी नमस्तुते नारायणी नमस्तुते। जय अम्बे जगदम्बे मां जय अम्बे जगदम्बे। नमो नमो दुर्गे सुख करनी नमो नमो अम्बे दुख हरनी। निरंकार है जो ति तुम्हारे तिहो लोक फैले उजियारे। जय अम्बे जगदम्बे मां ललाट मुख महाविशाला नेत्र लाल भ्रकुटी विकराला। रूप मात को अधिक सुहावे दर्श करत जन अति सुख पावे। तुम संसार शक्ति लय कीना पालन हेतु अन्न धन दीना। अन्नपूर्णा हुई है जगपाला तुम ही आदि सुंदरी बाला। जय अम्बे जगदम्बे मां जय अम्बे प्रलय काल सब नाशन हारे तुम गौरी शिव शंकर प्यारे। शिव योगी तुमरे गुण गावे ब्रह्मा विष्णु तुम्हें नित ध्यावे। रूप सरस्वती का तुम दारा दे सुबुद्धि ऋषि मुनि न उबारा। धरो रूप नर सिंह को अम्बे जगदम्बे। रक्षा करी प्रहलाद बचायो, हिरण्याकशु को स्वर्ग बतायो। लक्ष्मी रूप धरो जग माही, श्री नारायण अंग संहारी। क्षीर सिंधु में करत विलास, दया सिंधु दीजे मन आस। हिंगलाज में तुम्ही भवानी, महिमा अमित न जाए बखानी। जय अम्बे जगदम्बे। मातंगी दुमावती माता, भुवनेश्वरी भगला सुखदाता। श्री भैरव तारा जगतारणी, छिन्न बाल भव दुख निहारणी। हे हरि वाहन सोहे भवानी, लंगूर वीर चलत अगवानी। कर में कप्पर कर गविराजे, जाको देख काल धर बाजे। जय अम्बे जगदम्बे। शुंभ दानव तुम मारे, रक्त बीज संगम संहारे। महिषासुर नृप अति अभिमानी, जहि अगबार मही अकुलानी। रूप कराल कालिको दारा, सेन सहित तुम ही संहारा। परिवार संतन पर जब जब, भय सहाय माता तुम तब तब। जय अम्बे जगदम्बे। अमरपुरी अरबा सब लोका, तब महिमा सब रहे अशोका। बाला में है ज्योति तुम्हारी, तुम्हें सदा पूजे नर नारी। प्रेम भक्ति से जो नर गावे, दुख दरिद्र निकट नहीं आवे। ध्याये तुम्हें जो नर मन लाए, जन्म मरण का जो छूट गावे। जय अम्बे जगदम्बे। जोगी सुर मुनि कहत पुकारा, जोगन हो बिन शक्ति तुम्हारा। शंकर आचरहि तब कीनो, कामरु क्रोध जेति सब लीनो। निश दिन ध्यान धरो शंकर को, काहू काल नहीं सुमिरो तुमको, शक्ति रूप को नर मन पावे, शक्ति गए तब मन पछताए। जय अम्बे जगदम्बे, शरणागत हुई कीर्ति बकानी, जय 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 जगदम्ब भवानी। भई प्रसन्न आदि जगदम्बा, दई शक्ति नहीं की न विलम्ब। मूक मात कष्ट अति गैरो, तुम बिन कौन हरे दुख मेरो। आशा तृष्णा निपत सतावे, रिपु मूरत मोहि अति डर पावे। जय अम्बे जगदम्बे, शत्रुनाश की जय महारानी, तुमिरो एक छत तुम्हें भवानी। करो कृपा है मातु दयाला, रिद्धि सिद्धि को करो निहाला। जब लग जियो दया फल पाओ, तुमरो यश में सदा सुनाओ। दुर्गा चालीसा जो कोई गावे, सब सुख भोग परम पद पावे। जय अम्बे जगदम्बे माँ, 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 जय अम्बे जगदम्बे।
बोले श्री अम्बा माता भगवान की जय। Om. In the Durga Chalisa, thank you, Bhaiji. In the Durga Chalisa, we say, Tum sansar shakti lay kina, palan hetu anna dhan dina, अन्नपूर्णा हुई जगपाला, तुम आदि सुंदरी बाला. We say that all the powers of the world, Tuma Sansar, all these powers in the entire world, they reside in you, O Mata. Palana hetu anna dana dina. And it is you who provides all the food and money for the world's survivor. Annapurna hui jagapala. Like the feeding mother Annapurna, you take that form in our life and you nurture the entire universe. And you are the one who appears, Tumhi Adi Sundari Bala. You are the one who takes the form of Adi Sundari Bala. You are the originator of Sundari Bala. Thank you everyone for joining with us, as always. Let us now begin our satsang, our katha, with some prayers, some chanting, and then we can dive right into the katha tonight. Om. We clasp our hands as we pray to Ganapati Bhagwan, Ganesh Ji, the remover of all obstacles. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvara. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Atulit Baladamam Hemashailaabhadeham Dhanujavan Krishanam Jnaninam Mrigaganyam Sakala Gunanidanam Vanaranam Adhisham Raghupati Priya Bhaktam Vatajatam Namami. Om Ham Hanumate Namaha. Om Ham Hanumate Namaha. Om Ham Hanumate Namaha. Kararvinde Napadarvindam Mukarvinde Viniveshayantam Vatasya Patrasya Puteshayanam Balamukunda Manasa Smarani Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayana Vasudeva Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayana Vasudeva Lokabhiramam Ranarangadiram Rajivanetram Raghuvamsanatam Karunyarupam Karunakarantam Shri Ramachandram Manasa Smarami. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama. Shri Ram Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama. Vande Devam Umapatim Suragurum Vande Jagatkaranam Vande Pannagabhushanam Mrigadaram Vande Pashunapatim Vande Suryashashakavahinairam Vande Mukunda Priyam Vande Bhaktajanasrayam cha Varadam Vande Shivam Shankaram. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Ya Kundendu Tusharhar Davala Ya Shubhravastra Vrita Ya Veena Varadanda Manditkara या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्करप्रभृतिभिर्देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापः लक्ष्मीकरोतु कल्याणम् आरोग्यं सुखसम्पर मम शत्रुविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते ॐ नमो दिव्ये महादिव्ये शिवाय सततं नमः नमः प्रकृत्य भद्राय नियताः प्रणताः स्मतां रौद्राय नमो नित्याय गौरी धात्रे नमो नमः ज्योत्स्नाय चिन्दूरूपिण्ये सुखाय सततं नमः कल्याणे प्रणतां वृद्धे सिद्धे कुर्मो नमो नमः नैऋत्ये भूभृतां लक्ष्मी सर्वाणि ते नमो नमः दुर्गाय दुर्गपाराय साराय सर्वकारिण्ये ख्याते तथैव कृष्णाय धूम्राय सततं नमः अतिसौम्यातिरौद्राय नतास्तस्यै नमो नमः नमो जगत्प्रतिष्ठाय दिव्यीकृत्यै नमो नमः या देवी सर्वभूतेषु या देवी सर्वभूतेषु विष्णुमायेति षड्विता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः या देवी सर्वभूतेषु चैतन्येत्यभिधीयते नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः
नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु बुद्धिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः
नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु निद्रारूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः
नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु क्षुद्धारूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः
नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु छायारूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः
नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु शक्तिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः
नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु तृष्णारूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः
नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु शान्तिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः
नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु जातिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः
नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु लज्जारूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः
नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु शान्तिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः
नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु श्रद्धारूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः
नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु कान्तिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः
नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः
ॐ या देवी सर्वभूतेषु लक्ष्मीरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः
नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु वृत्तिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः
नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु स्मृतिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः
नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु दयारूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः
नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु तुष्टिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः
नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु मातृरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः
नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु भ्रान्तिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः
नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः
इन्द्रियाणामधिष्ठात्री भूतानां चाकुलेषु या भूतेषु सततं तस्यै व्याप्ति दिव्ये नमो नमः चितिरूपेण या कृत्स्ने मेतद्व्याप्य स्थितः जगत् नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः
नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः
ॐ नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः
नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो
ॐ
नमः
नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः
नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः
नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः
नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो
ॐ
नमः
नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः Sitaram Jai Mata Di. Swagatam, welcome to each and every one of you to our Friday night Shanti Satsang, of course dedicated to Ma Bhavani, Ma Durga. To ask you all a question, let's begin with this. Which one of you listening right now is a good person? Which one of you listening to this katha is a good person? We can say all of you. Now turn to the person beside you. Are they a good person? Look beside you, to whoever is beside you, and ask yourself, are they a good person wherever you are on this earth? Of course they are, because all of you are listening to Shanti Satsang, so you have some good qualities within you. You have this good energy within you that brings you towards Bhagwan. But how is it that we can recognize a good person, especially if we have never seen them before, especially if we have never come across them before, and this is the first time that you're interacting with them? How is it that you can find out if this person is good? What qualities makes them a good person? And what does this good person sound like? You know, very shortly, this economy that we're in is going to start opening up. Our government is going to start opening up everything even further. The pandemic will be lifted, and we will be thrown back into our normal life again. This means that we're going to be coming across people outside of our normal and usual circle of our family and friends. This means that we're going to be coming across new people in our lives that we have never met before. People in our workplace. New friends that we will begin to make. At events, or even right here in this mandir, we will meet new people and speak with one another. So what is the best way that we can identify and to pick out those good people around you? Because I'm sure all of you know this by now, but those are the people that we should interact with. Those are the people that we need to be connected with. And so the first step in making that connection is to find out who they are, is to identify who they are. People that are good, those that are good in life, they're kind, they're respectful, they're helpful, and they're truthful. These are just 4 examples of qualities that they possess. There's many, many more, of course. But if we were to take these qualities, then we can understand that if you are good, then you are kind. You understand what it means to be in pain and in suffering. And you never want to put anyone else through that same ordeal. You never want to put anyone else through that same feeling that you have had. If you are good, then you are respectful. And you know your boundaries in this life. You know where and when to have fun. You know when it is time to be serious and when it is time not to cross the line. I'm sure you know what the line is. If you are good, then you are helpful as well. You look to find solutions for others. You look to find out the problems and how you can solve them for people around you. And if you're good, you are truthful. You know who you are. You know how to be genuine. And you stay genuine in any type of situation, in every situation that you're placed in. And not only are you genuine, but you maintain all of these other qualities that we have said as well. Some people can be genuinely bad. So, if you are genuine, you're truthful, but you have to maintain all of those good qualities, the other good qualities I mentioned before. You know, one day, there's a beautiful story. A young boy and a young girl, they were outside playing in the playground. The little boy, he had in his hands a stack of collector's cards. He was collecting them for many months. And he shows this to the girl. She thinks that they're very cool. And the girl, it's her birthday that day, so she has a whole assortment of candies. And she shows them to the boy. And so the boy proposes that they switch. He says, if I give you all my cards, will you give me all of the candy that you have? She agrees because she thinks the cards are cool. So the boy hands over all his cards except one that he had hidden in his pocket. He kept that one card. It was very rare, very, very rare. He kept it in his pocket and did not give her that one. And the girl gave him all the candy that she had. They were both happy with the deal and they went home. But that night, the little girl, she slept very peacefully. She was happy. She knew that she had all these great cards. On the other hand, the little boy now, he could not sleep because he was thinking to himself, I kept one card behind. I wonder if the little girl had also kept the best candy back as well. He's wondering in his mind if she had kept something away from the deal because he was not genuine and truthful in the interaction. Now his mind is not at ease himself. He's wondering if she is also in the same way, if she had kept something back from him, if she was not truthful. You see, the truthfulness, this part here is very important. It's important in the way that we interact with each other. And it's very important, especially for ourselves more than others around us. It's good for others around us, but more importantly for ourselves. The other qualities of being kind, helpful, respectful, they all matter more if we are honest and true. And it shows someone who is good. All of these qualities together. A good person is much like the sandalwood tree. This is something that we hear very often. That a good person, someone who's saintly is like the sandalwood tree. And even the axe that tries to cut it down, that's doing harm to this tree, the sandalwood spreads its scent equally to that axe and to anything it comes across, even though the axe is destroying it and chopping it down. That is a good person, to spread these good qualities and intentions at all times. My Guruji is here as well. Pandit Harda always says that a flower, if you hold a flower in your hands and it is a sweet smelling flower, the flower does not discriminate onto which hand it provides the scent. It allows the scent to be on both the hands. So when you let go of this flower, you have that sweet smelling scent on both equally. In the same way, that is what a good person is. That residual sweetness is left on everyone equally, no matter who you come across. Now, let us take a look at two flowers and how these two flowers, these good people, interact for the first time. How is it that they try to identify the other person? How is it that they try to determine if that other person is good? Om Ram Siya Ram Siya Ram Jai Jai Ram 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 को तुम श्यामल गौर शरीरा को तुम श्यामल गौर शरीरा रणबीरा राम सिया राम जय जय राम राम सिया राम
सिया राम जय जय राम
ओ कठिन भूमि कोमल पद गानी कठिन भूमि कोमल पद गानी कवन है पूजित रघुवन स्वामी राम सिया राम जय जय राम 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 सिया राम जय जय राम सिया राम जय जय राम Hanuman ji, Swami, now he sees Prabhu Shri Ram and Lakshmana for the first time in the Ramcharitmanas. This is a very popular story. He sees Prabhu Shri Ram and Lakshmana and he sees them wandering through the forest, not exactly looking for a particular spot, but looking everywhere. And he is tasked by Sugriv to go and inquire what they want, to go and see what they want. So Hanumanji now approaches Prabhu Shri Ram. And how is it that Shri Ram can recognize the good within Hanumanji? The first person to speak is Hanumanji Swami. He approaches them and he says, "Who are you two heroes? And why are you warriors wandering the forest with your soft feet, Swami? My masters, why are you two wandering this dense, hard forest with your soft feet?" You see, first of all, Hanumanji, he speaks in a very calm and gentle manner. He speaks very calmly. He invites Sri Ram and Lakshmana into conversation by first speaking good about them. He speaks good about them in this beginning. But of course, this is not the only sign for someone who speaks good, or it's someone who is good, rather. Because there are many people in this life who will speak sweetly to us in the beginning, but in the end, they are only looking to take away from us. They're only looking to get something in particular. But first, Hanumanji, he speaks very sweetly to them, and he invites them into further conversation by asking them about themselves. The second point to this is that the words Hanumanji chose, not only were they sweet and soft, but he also spoke in a very poetic and sophisticated way. Prabhu Shri Ram and Lakshmana, after hearing the words of Hanumanji, they addressed Hanumanji as a learned person. Because right away, as they heard him, they can understand that he was an intelligent person just through his words alone. And finally, the most important part of this entire conversation from Hanumanji is his response after hearing Prabhu Shri Ram's answer to his question. Hanumanji asks, "Who are you two?" Shri Ram says that they are two princes wandering the forest in search for his wife Sita Ma, who has been stolen away by the demon Ravana. Prabhu Shri Ram gives him this little glimpse of what they're trying to achieve. He tells Hanumanji of his problems. And how did Hanumanji respond? He says, "Prabhu Shri Ram, After hearing this, you know what you should do? You should meet my friend Sugriv. If you become his friend, he will surely help you by sending millions of monkeys in all of the directions to find Sitama. You see, a true sign of someone who is good is the way that they speak, how intelligent and how sweet their words are, but most importantly, if by those words and actions that they try to improve your life, that they try to make your life better, and not just shower you with good and pleasant words. That is nice. But if they do not offer a solution to your problems or empathize with what you're going through, then what is the point of that person coming into your life? They can be in your life, but will they be a good person, a good friend to help you out through your tough times? It's hard to say. Hanumanji was willing to help these two strangers, on the first encounter. And as we discussed earlier, a good quality to someone who is good is being helpful. This is a good indication. So how many of you would stop the car on the road if you see someone who has broken down to try and assist them? How many of you would stop for someone who's sticking their thumb out on the road trying to get a ride? Be very careful. I'm not telling you to do this all the time. But how many of us would do such a thing or have the intention to help others? How many of us would take the time to hear a stranger out, to hear their problems, to hear their troubles that they're going through, or someone who's just looking to vent? How many of us would take that time out of our day to hear that? How many of us would stop and help a stranger search for their glasses that they have lost? There are many others that would walk by and say, this person looks crazy. They're crawling on the ground all over the place. I don't know what they're doing. Instead of, you could have stopped and asked them what you're looking for. Of course, they can't see, so they'll need help. Many, many others will walk by. But how many of us would stop and help these people? There's a beautiful quote from Mr. Rogers. Do you guys know Mr. Rogers? This is the younger generation. We grew up watching Mr. Rogers and on his TV show. This was a show we watched as a kid. He was a very inspirational, tidy, and neat person. Mr. Rogers said, when I was a boy and I would see scary things in the news, my mother would say to me, look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping. It tells us that real strength and goodness has to do with helping others in this life. That no matter how dark the times are, no matter what is going on in the world, if you find people that are helping others, we can connect with them. Those people can be our guide or be our assistance along the same path that we're walking. But let's be real for a second. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever met someone and, as we say, "Ye soul na tekam"? Or let me translate for you guys. Have you ever met someone and your soul does not take to them? You just don't have this good sense, this good feeling about this person. You have this bad energy or bad vibrations coming from this person. If you have not had this feeling yet, I say go out and meet a couple thousand more people. I'm sure you will come across one. But we have this saying because it is very, very true. That there are some people who we meet that are not conducive or are not good people. They don't vibe with us. They don't have the same energy waves that we do because we're good people and they're not so good people. There are some bad people in the world. Let us take a look at another example as to who Prabhu Sri Ram now meets. Someone who is not so good. Om Ram Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram. 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 सुपन का रावण के बहनी, सुपन का रावण के बहनी, दुष्ट हृदय दारुण जस आहनी. राम सिया राम, जय जय राम. राम सिया राम, जय जय राम. ओ पंचवती सो गए एक बारा, पंचवती सो गए एक बारा, देखी बिकल भय झुकल कुमारा. राम सिया राम, जय जय राम. 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 राम सिया राम, jai jai ram. Shurpanka, as the verse says, I'm sure many of you already know this. Shurpanka, the sister of Ravana, she saw as she was walking in the forest one day at Panchavati, Prabhu Shri Ram and Lakshmana. And she approaches Prabhu Shri Ram in a beautiful form and she begins to speak to him. She says, "There is no man like you, nor a woman like me. Though I have searched the entire world, I have found no suitable match for me in all the world. I have remained unwed, but now that I have seen you, my mind is at ease." Remember what I said about people who speak sweet words to you. Shurpanka is speaking some sweet words to Prabhu Shri Ram. Of course, this can be good or bad. But do you hear the difference in the way that she speaks in comparison to Hanumanji? Do you hear the difference between Hanumanji Swami and Shurpanka? This is the first words that she speaks. She constantly spoke about herself throughout the introduction. She did not bother inquiring about Sri Ram. She did not ask who he was. She did not ask about Lakshmana or Mata Sita. She did not speak kind words about him alone. In fact, most of the words, the kind words that she said, were about herself. And how is it that she can help anyone else when she is engrossed in herself only? When she is so concerned about her own well-being and her own looks and her own glories, how is it that she can help others? This is not the sign of a good person right away. Of course, Prabhu Shri Ram, he saw right through this disguise of hers. He knew from her short introduction that this is not someone he would want to associate with. He knew that from listening to the way that she spoke, that she was hiding her true intentions, or rather that her intentions were very, very clear. She was only concerned about having a match for herself instead of inquiring about Prabhu Shri Ram, if they're doing okay, if they have any troubles, and if she can assist with them. Shurpanka, of course, was not a good person. What have we learned today? The first thing that we have learned is that a good person is someone who is kind, helpful, respectful, and truthful. We can see that from Hanumanji's actions, that he showed all of these qualities in just the first conversation with Prabhu Shri Ram. We see that Shurpanka, on the other hand, she only thought about herself and her desires, and she left no room for anyone else to come into the conversation. Fourth, we can identify a good person and befriend them if we listen carefully to how they speak to us. And finally, make it your mission, I can say this weekend, to become that good person. Not now that we know how to recognize a good person, make it your mission to also become that person that others can recognize. Bolo Kalani Kripalani Mata Ki Jai. Shri Bhagwan Ramachandra Ki Jai. Thank you everyone for joining with us today. We have a dedication. This dedication is remembering our beloved Rukmin Ramasar, a mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother who passed away 10 years ago. And for this dedication, we'd like to offer this beautiful bhajan for this family and on behalf of the soul of Rukmin Ramasar. Om He Anandhan ki Maharani, O Jai Lakshmi Rani. He Anandhan ki Maharani, O Jai Lakshmi Rani. Tujhe ghar ghar pooje prani, O Jai Lakshmi Rani. He Anandhan ki तुझे घर घर पूजे प्राणी, ओ जय लक्ष्मी रानी। अन्न धन की महारानी, ओ जय लक्ष्मी रानी। तिहारा चम चम करे, लाखों दियों की ज्योति जले। मंदिर तिहारा चम चम करे, लाखों दियों की ज्योति जले। भक्तों का माँ भंडार भरे, हाथों से धन की बरका करे। तेरे हम पे भी मेहरबानी, ओ जय लक्ष्मी रानी। तुझे घर घर पूजे प्राणी, ओ जय लक्ष्मी रानी। ए अनदन की महारानी, ओ जय लक्ष्मी रानी। तुझे घर घर पूजे प्राणी, ओ जय लक्ष्मी रानी। दो कान कोई सोई यहाँ, सबकी रखना नजरानी, हो जय लक्ष्मी रानी। हे अन्न धन की महारानी, हो जय लक्ष्मी रानी। तुझ घर घर पूजे रानी, हो जय लक्ष्मी रानी। हे अन्न धन की महारानी, हो जय लक्ष्मी रानी। तुझ घर घर पूजे रानी, हो जय लक्ष्मी रानी, हो जय लक्ष्मी रानी, हो जय लक्ष्मी रानी। We have a couple of announcements today. The first announcement is to obviously join us online or in person for Holika Dahan. This will be taking place on March 17th. And Holi, of course, follows the next day, March 18th. Very, very auspicious and joyous time. I don't know how we're going to celebrate, but I'm sure we're going to celebrate in some form or the other. And we're going to have Chautal, and that's always fun. So please join with us March 17th and March 18th. Our third announcement is that we're taking part in a Go Vax bus clinic. So this is an event to get our community vaccinated. It will be taking place at Bhavani Shankar Mandir on March 12th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. What this means is that there will be a Go bus and there will be nurses and doctors on board to provide the vaccine to anyone who has not received it. I see here that it is for many different types. So the first, second dose, boosters, and even pediatric doses as well. And I believe it's Pfizer vaccines. To register for this and to take part in this, you have to visit the Ontario website. And it's ontario.ca/book-vaccine. You can call the phone number. There's a flyer on our Facebook, I believe. You can call this phone number and you have to mention Bhavani Shankar Mandir and the GoVax. That's GOVAXX. And once you mention those two things, you can schedule your appointment here at Bhavani Shankar Mandir. Again, this is March 12th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Virgie, would you like to say something? Okay, thank you everyone. That's all the announcements we have for today. Please let us now all stand for Aarti. Om Yani Kani Cha Papani Janmantare Kritani Cha Tani Sarvani Nashyantu Pradakshina Pade Pade.
Om Jai Ambe Gauri, Maya Jai Shama Gauri. Jai Ambe Gauri, Maya Jai Shama Gauri. तुमको निश दिन ध्यान
पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभाङ्गं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिभिर्ध्यानगम्यं वन्दे विष्णु भवभयहरं सर्वलोकैकनाथं सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरी नारायणे नमोऽस्तु ते त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव। ॐ गुरुब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वर गुरुसाक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतं गमय। ॐ शान्ति ॐ शान्ति ॐ शान्ति हरिः ॐ। बोले मापति महादेव की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की सिया भज रामचंद्र की। श्री दुर्गा माता की। श्री सत्य सनातन धर्म की। सब कोई जय जय सीताराम। जय सीताराम everyone. Thank you. You can stay where you are. Aarti will be coming towards you.